Terra to Saitama. In the One Punch Man universe, Saitama, by breaking his limiter, became the strongest, so much so that he can defeat his opponents in just a single punch. He defeated Dominator of the Universe Lord Boros, who can destroy the sun, and Garo the monster that became absolute evil. But now, after so many years, the answer of one question asked by many is here. Can the creation defeat the creator? Can Saitama defeat God? Well, the answer to that question lies in one of the many possible universes. One of them is called the Terra 2 universe, where Saitama is face-to-face against God. In the Terra 2 universe, you learn that the Saitama's galaxy is one of the many dimensions that is connected throughout the multiverse. With each of these dimensions are connected to black holes, the same black holes which are stated to be inaccessible to any biological life forms. However, there are beings who are able to use them as pathways to travel from one galaxy to another one for conquering them. These beings are higher dimensional beings, or better known as gods. With these gods are destroying every and all galaxies within the multiverse. Though one of the survivors was able to escape and reach planet Earth, where she met Saitama. But soon after, God came from the pathway of black hole, landing in Saitama's universe. Saitama tells the survivor that he'll be the one to defeat God, using the dimensional space stone, which allows the user to travel across the galaxy at will. Using that, they arrive at the presence of God. Coming to the battlefield, Saitama looks up at God. Now we see that the fight of the multiverse to begin. Saitama, in trying to save Genos, gets hit by God. Saitama take the brute force of God's attack. He crashes into a mountain in the distance. With this, Saitama looks up and states that this is bad, as Garo and Genos defeated. Saitama knows that he forgot to save his game before switching off the console. Saitama, enraged, jumps towards God and punches him, flying into the air. And when Saitama goes for another punch, God attacks with his beam. Saitama repels the beam with his killer move, Serious Punch. As the two attacks clashes, it sends a shockwave throughout the earth, shaking the entire planet. But then we see that God has taken heavy damage. God slams Saitama so deep into the earth that he almost reaches the core. In the meantime, God sees himself mangled by just a single punch, and even admits that Saitama is a strong foe. Saitama, at the bottom of the earth, smiles, and thinks to himself that he finally got what he wanted. It's time to get serious. God explains how not even fourth dimensional beings can beat him, and there are other gods who are even higher dimensional than himself. He then references another being, stating that for him you're all nothing but mere dust. God then explains how it's so simple to destroy third dimensional beings. Only one method is required. It's to decompose all organic matter, which will disintegrate into one-dimensional matter, as God's commanded. Judgment. And with that, just a wave of his hand, all life on Earth begins to disintegrate away. Saitama, still within Earth, takes a deep breath and jumps to the surface. At this time, Garo was fighting God and trying to use Dimensional Stone to end him. But God ends up absorbing the power of Stone and asks, "Did you really thought a simple space-time stone could defeat a god? Things like space and time are under my dominion." He then goes on to explain that he's a higher dimensional being that can control space and time, with there being 5, 6, 7, and even higher dimensional spaces with even more space-time access. In the string theory, specifically, its extension known as M-theory describes that our universe have 11 dimensions. The familiar 3 spatial dimensions plus time, and 7 additional spatial dimensions that are compactified or otherwise hidden from our direct perception. These extra dimensions are necessary to make the mathematics of string theory work and to unify the fundamental forces of nature, meaning the Terra 2 cosmology would be 11-dimensional. However, the 11-dimensional being is above the universe and controls all of it as we know it. In the end of the battle, everyone was killed by God. However, the galaxy's last stand, Saitama, who finally has arrived to surface, came face to face against God. To complete what he promised, to kill God, Saitama launches himself at God. As everyone on Earth is gone, he doesn't have to hold back. Saitama punches God so hard that it shakes the entire planet. Saitama then grabs God by his head and drags him across the continent, and then tours him across the solar system. God, after crashing into a planet, gathers rare minerals to make a layer of armor around his body to protect himself from Saitama's punches. God realizes that Saitama is no ordinary being. He locates him and drags him to the planet. Saitama picks up the Dimensional Stone, and when God tries to punch Saitama, Saitama winds up his own. As the two punches clashes, the entire planet is destroyed. From the dust, we see that Saitama is fine. but God is not. As God's body was completely eviscerated, when he regenerated his body, he sent Saitama into a fourth-dimensional space-time array. There are two types of fourth-dimensional spaces that I know of. One is called hyperspace, and the other is called Minkowski space. However, I believe it's more likely to be hyperspace. As in physics, Minkowski space, or Minkowski, is the main mathematical description of spacetime in the absence of gravitation. It combines inertial space and time manifolds into a four-dimensional model, which is different compared to what God sends Saitama into. Anyway, God states that in this dimension, where time will revert continuously, any organic being within it will revert to dust. However, Saitama was able to break through it by thinking of it as a game of Tetris, in which he surpasses the speed of light. Then Saitama attacks God with consecutive punches. God explains even a microsecond is enough for him to escape and regenerate in the corners of the universe. So in response, Saitama throws his most powerful punch and destroys the entire universe alongside God. In the end, Saitama stands alone as the strongest mortal who defeated God. Overall, Terra to Saitama will scale to low complex multiversal with faster than light to infinite speed. Hello guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, so be sure to like and subscribe more videos like this. Oh, and I got to tell you all something, I'm working on a tiering system wiki, so if you want to help me add characters, come to my Discord server and talk to me. The link is in the description.